And so it goes. We are live
That just
now.
changed. We are
Yes.
indeed.
So,
Yay, we're live!
welcome to the actual game. I'm still here. Now, before we actually jump into the game, first things first for everyone. Here on Encounter Roleplay, we do have a couple of sponsors that I'm just going to mention right off the bat before I start introducing the game. So, obviously, this stream we are sponsored by Mage Press, currently running the Kickstarter for the Dark Matter Starter Kit. And this adventure that we are playing is part of that starter kit. So this will give you a taste of what to look forward to. Go check out the Kickstarter. It has blown past pretty much every stretch goal so far, I think. And just keep giving to them because maybe they'll come up with something more and maybe we'll get even more mech combat. That's already cool. There's also Helmgast, who sponsor us for the wonderful game Cult Divinity Lost, which is going to be on right after this Dark Matter game. That is going to be fun, so 6 to 9 Eastern Time. So stick around once this is done. If you've got the time, if you've got the energy, you know, there's limits on all of us humans. And of course, one of our favorite publishers, Modifius out there, who publish everything from Tales from the Loop and Dishonored and Star Trek Adventures with the new Klingon supplement, which tomorrow you will get to see right here on this very channel as well. And one of the other things, which not for this adventure unfortunately, but for many of our shows, we also use World Anvil, which is a wonderful website that I myself as a GM have also used. It's a great place to just build your world, keep track of your notes, make sure that you have access to everything you need, and also share with your players. It's actually a really useful tool. I was overwhelmed at first, but once you figure it out, it's just really, oh hey, here's all these lovely little bits. And that's pretty much it for that. So, quick introductions then before we get into the game itself. My name is Diane. You can also find me as Balrog1911 basically everywhere. I'm going to be your GM for the game. Right, cameras are inverted. I'm just going to do clockwise over there. So playing Jackson, we've got Emilio. I'm going to have you introduce your characters properly as part of the actual adventure. We've got Jen playing Ryan. Evan, down right below me, is playing Sebastian. We may be fans of puns, just maybe. Celeste is going to be playing Ampersand, and Bailey is playing Gina. Find out more about these characters very soon. But for now, let's dive right into the conspiracy in the stars. GM voice on. So, the verse. The verse is a vast and endless existence, where anything is possible, for better or worse. Ever since the discovery of the maws, portals that are contained within the mouths of vast and ancient skeletons of long-dead beings so large that entire space stations are built around their skulls alone. The Milky Way galaxy has become both far larger and far smaller for the various civilizations contained within its bounds. But despite all the places that can be accessed by the magic-powered machinery which allows for interstellar travel, there are still areas considered out of reach. The so-called dead magic zones, where almost all gear and ships falter and fail. In fact, the only ones who can traverse these areas are the gnomes, and their technology based on something strange known as science rather than the arcane arts. They're the only ones to have the capacity to truly thrive. What secrets do these zones hold? What worlds lie in wait? It seems unlikely this will ever be answered. But on Port Nomad, a space station with a reputation for being ruled more by the laws of finance and greed than the laws of the verse, the professor is about to unveil something that could turn the established balance on its side. And like anything else out in the vastness, the immense gravity of this situation is proving an irresistible attraction. To ensure his safety, to make sure nothing falls in the wrong hands, 5 bodyguards have been hired. At this moment, they've arrived and are entering the Starswill Bar. Some of these people know each other, some have heard of each other. All of them have a reputation. And this is now where you introduce yourselves, or almost actually, because there's one other thing that I'm going to give you. I'm sorry, hang on. There's a slide. So, all of you, and you've all arrived here. But before you came here, and as part of your down payment, you all received a hollow video. As you're entering, you replay it over and over again in your heads, recalling how strange and important it seemed. You remember how scared the messy gnome scientist in the video seemed as he stared out the window through into space, his eyes tired and wide. That gnome, you know, is Professor Oren Talfo Gogglefogger, an inventor who claims to have a solution to the verse's biggest problem. Once more, you recall the contents. You recall every little detail. Professor Oren fiddling with his rolled-up sleeve, lighting one of his space cigarettes, turning to look directly at the holocam. And as he speaks, there's this hint of knowing sadness in his voice. As he says, "That's me, Spacers, and I am in a lot of trouble. It's not your fault this is happening. Not entirely. Maybe you will save my life. I hope. No, now is not the time. Listen, you have to understand. The Talfo Matrix, my prototype, is going to change everything. We will be able to travel into dead magic zones with dark matter ships. We'll be able to colonize unexplored planets using magic. We're going to rewrite interstellar boundaries. The thing about it is, change is terrifying, exciting. The possibilities and the impossible brings out the best and the worst in people. You'll see what I mean soon enough." And then the video ends. The professor putting out his half-smoked cigarette, reaching a shaking hand to turn it off. So you enter the Starswill Bar. So please, let's go around in reverse order and introduce yourselves. Bailey, let's start with you. Sorry,
All
Gina.
right. Yeah, so I've seen some of you before. It's good to see you again. Hi, Brian. I just got here. I am, as you can see, Tabaxi Gunslinger, and I got some boats to rock. I hope you do too.
As you said before, we are in fact acquainted. I am Ampersand. I am a amoeboid. I am an interpreter, but I am known to take jobs under the table here and there. And hopefully some among you won't have any hard feelings about our past encounters.
I am Sebastian. I am a support companion. I have run many bars and salons, and I look after the well-being of my companions. I am Vect and also a doctor.
I'm Ryan. I'm what people call a near human, but I actually think that I'm just a normal person, and I don't know why they say that, so I'm just human. But I got like funny white hair and real pale skin, and my eyes are all blue, just like teal, like no whites in my eyes, no irises, just all of that. And I'm dressed all fancy like. I got like a plum silk shirt and all that fun stuff, and I got a cutlass on my hip instead of a blaster because I like to do it old school. And I walk in and I see everybody. I give a greeting. We've seen everybody. I point to my hair that Sebastian just did like yesterday. It's got like purple tips on white hair, looking good. And I give a smile to everyone else. And my face brightens a bit when I see Gina, just like, and then I just sort of get it under control and nod my head and go, yeah, good to see
you. Jackson here. Dad's a gnome, mom's a dwarf. Grew up in the wreck of a destroyed gnomish flotilla ship. One of the early ones, they didn't last as long as some of the new ones. Been scavenging, putting together parts, building machines ever since. Lost my legs when I was about 8 years old, but that hasn't slowed me down. Built this suit, lets me get around, and I've got all the weapons and tools that I need. And if you need something taken apart or put back together, I'm the guy to talk to.
Excellent. And there we have it. There we have our crew. So, you make your way into the Starsville bar. You've traveled across the verse to get here from various corners. This bar is a seedy joint. One of the more well-known ones in Port Nomad. On the one end, you've got a dimly lit, empty marble stage. There's a piano that's been pushed all the way to the back wall. The bar is populated, but not overly crowded. There's a couple of individuals from the various different species that inhabit this galaxy, all gathered here to witness the presentation that they've been invited to. In front of the stage, there's a row of fold-out seats that have been set up specifically for this occasion. You can see it's the sort of area that normally you'd get like, an audience for the live band, but now it's just all rows of seats. Beyond the seats, you've got a couple of dark booths, some very poorly lit and some a little more brightly lit. You get the sense that the poor lighting is intentional in a few places. It looks like the perfect place to have a nice little whispered conversation. There's a few round tables also set out between the stage area and the bar itself. A couple of people are sitting, drinking, gambling. The bar itself is a long metal top with a lot of stools right in front of it. Standing behind it, you've got several human bartenders working hard to keep up with the demands of the clientele here. And then next to it, there's a fairly large window just looking out into the vastness of outer space. Within the bar, where would you all find yourselves? Where do you reckon your characters would be?
Sebastian would look around and ask his companions, should we not be keeping a watch on our patron? He's hired us to look after him. I think we should at least be near him. What do you think? No? I suppose you would
here in
rather
the
have a drink.
shadows, I have a pretty good view of everybody, and nobody's got a pretty good view of me, so I'm gonna stay right here where I can keep my eye on him and anybody who might make themselves a target.
Very strategic. I like it.
I do not mind putting myself in the center of attention, so to speak. I could sit at the bar.
I can come with you, Ampersand, if you want someone with you.
That would be agreeable.
All right. Oh. Going to the bar is essentially a short walk through the actual establishment itself. As you walk through, you can take a quick glance around, and you can make out a little bit more of what's where, who's sitting where. Right in front of the stage, there's another lone amoeboid, actually, sitting in an otherwise unoccupied seat, a row of seats, one of those fold-out chairs. Seems to be just sitting there, waiting politely. In one of the booths, one of the well-lit ones, there is Professor Oren Talfo Gogglefogger himself, with a couple of assistants. He seems to be poring over his notes, crossing out a couple of words from his speech, rewriting them, crossing them out. He's getting ready. He's a little bit excited. In
Maybe we should just...
in one of the more poorly lit booths, there's two almost identical halflings wearing white suits next to another halfling dressed in a completely black suit, and standing next to them wearing very high-tech armor and with quite a few visible weapons, and you don't want to know how many invisible ones, is a half-orc just standing there, looking out, looking at everyone, taking it in. As you approach the bar, you also walk past, you can see there's a small gaming table that's been set up, the only gambling happening currently. It's a beautiful woman wearing a red dress, playing cards with an older, sort of grumpy-faced dwarf, possibly grumpy because he seems to be not doing so well. As you get closer to the bar, you can also see next to the window, bathed in some of the light that's coming from the outside, wearing one of the specialized suits that they have for surviving, essentially, as they need it, is one of the nautilids. It's impossible to see through the suit as to who might be in it, but it is large, it is intimidating, and you can see a rocket hammer strapped to the back of it. At the bar itself, the very tall Avia Ra, that humanoid body with bird face, standing there, kind of leaning, keeping an eye on everything. And at the other far end of the bar, there's a very well-dressed, going by the look of it, elven noblewoman. You can see, from a brief glance in her direction, you can only see, instead of eyes, there's just these silver discs. So, quick aside to say massive thanks to Kitchen for that donation. Always good. Donate them to me next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ampersand and Ryan. Ugh, my hair. Ampersand and Ryan, you said you were going to the bar.
Yeah, I might sit near the elven noblewoman. Just just glancing out of the side of my eye, not too distracted, but sitting there. And maybe elbow Ampersand and be like, maybe we should just go say hi.
If
I'd like to
working the
wheel
crowd
over
is,
to. Oh, go ahead.
if working the crowd is the angle you would like to take, you are free to do so. I will remain here and keep an eye on the half-orc and his 2 halfling companions. I believe if anybody in this room poses a threat, it is they.
Sounds good. I think I'm gonna go just shake his hand. I like to be friendly, like. But just a sec, and I'm gonna actually ask the bartender to send a drink over to the elven noblewoman, a margarita or something like that. And I have enough money to pay for a single drink, having gambled away most of the rest of my money. But I will prefer that. Send a drink over to her, and then actually head over to the booth where Professor Oren is.
I'd be hitting that way
So,
as well.
Jackson is
you first.
Jackson is just eyeing the nautilid and the suit, and wants to get a sense of like what kind of gear and tech this person has.
Okay. Get to you in just a second. Right now.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're going up to the bar. The bar top itself is mostly empty. What drinks there have been ordered have been handed out. You do get the smell of stale alcohol. It's hanging around. There's a lot of different bottles of curious shapes and colors. And there's a large display showing all the prices for the beverages in credits, translated into most of the languages that you'll find in the verse. Cocktail of the day apparently is called the Prototype, fittingly enough. A few stools down from you, as you approach to try and order something, the Aviara becomes more apparent. You were all briefed on this one. This is Sir Helio Horus, the Chief of Security on Port Nomad. A figure you briefly met in brushing past when you first arrived, who just did the cursory glance over your ship and waved you on. Helio Horus himself is an Aviara, wearing red platinum armor and half a helm. Seems to be watching the room very, very dutifully. His proud feathers showing off a very colorful plumage that hides a couple of old scars. The elven woman is a little more matronly, dressed very audaciously in an electric pink gown, accented with very strange, very sharp angles everywhere that match the long, hot pink mohawk she's got. As you look over with the intention of getting or sending a drink, you can see she's already sipping on a brilliant blue fizzing cocktail. Smiles at you.
Well, in that case, maybe I'll get her some like cheesy fries or something like that if they've got any snacks at this bar.
Snacks are available, and if you'd like to send some over.
Space fries. I'm gonna send her some space fries. I'm gonna say hi. I'm gonna tap Healy on the shoulder and just say, "Hey there, Horace." And I'm gonna sit down and sip a drink for myself too.
You move to tap Helio Horus on the shoulder. He's already moved aside. Just does not want you to do that. Looks at you, just gives a polite sort of, "Hello there," and looks away again.
Such a friendly place. I mean, really, this is just everyone's in such a great mood in this kind of place.
Now, Jackson, you were looking at the Nautilus armor. getting up personal for that, or just eyeing from a distance?
So, yeah, I'd like to know, if I could, what the condition of the suit is. Jackson just has the itch to fix things or take them apart, and maybe if there's like a loose bolt or something, Jackson might be intrigued.
Can handle it well. So, as you approach, it's easy to see that the hulking, especially for you, given the size difference, this hulking fish-like nautilid, and getting closer, you can actually see in through the porthole-like visor. The inhabitant of this suit appears a little distracted. The suit itself is imposing, reminiscent of ancient diving gear filled with a slightly glowing blue liquid. The suit itself, on your inspection, and you being a gadgeteer, you have a fairly good sense of this. The suit is well worn. The leather boots have slightly thinning soles, and as you observe, she, and it is indeed a she, reaches up to just wipe the visor real quick, cleaning off a fairly large stain. But doesn't really manage to do anything other than just smudge the grease around further.
That suit's seen some action, huh? I say.
And the suit's inhabitant turns down, nods, and says, "Yeah, yes. I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting it. Is the presentation about to start? Do you know?"
Don't know anything about a presentation, but I imagine so. I think we were called here for. What brings you in?
The presentation, of course. I'm Captain Lysandra. Well,
Nice to meet you, Captain.
as you can see, the nautilid representing the nautilids. That's what I am.
Well, it's a pleasure, and if you ever in the market for some upgrades, and Jackson kind of eyes the boots knowingly, you let me know. And then Jackson's going to stomp over to where the rest of the party, or I guess over to Sebastian.
Just another polite nod and the sort of, thank you. Well, presentation first, and yes. Then immediately goes back to just leaning, looking out the window, is very clearly just continuing to be distracted and waiting, anxiously waiting. Now, Ryan, you said you were going over to the professor.
Actually, before I go, I want to use one of my abilities on this pink mohawk elven lady. She's just acting so not in anything. I'm suspicious, so I want to use empathy on her if I can before I go anywhere. And it says I can just probe the surface level of a creature's emotions. You must be able to see the creature. It must be within 30 feet, have intelligence of 3 or higher, which I'm going to assume she does. She's eating my cheesy fries. She's smart. And you learn their emotional state and... Huh?
I was going to say she's not in fact eating the cheesy fries. They just kind of looked at them and then left them.
That's a waste. I find out emotional state and bonds. Yeah, at your discretion, bonds. One of the creature's bonds.
Okay. Do you need to make a roll for that, or...?
It doesn't have a roll attached to it. That's the language of it, which is odd to me. I'm happy to make a roll if you want. It seems awfully powerful.
If it doesn't have a roll attached to it, it does not have a roll attached to it. That is the
cool.
nature of a few things. So surface level emotions is disinterested in anything currently. Patience. You get the sense of patience. As far as bonds are concerned, that's
Your discretion, so.
tell you what is your passive insight real quick?
My intelligence is 3. It was a +3. Passive. I don't know where to find it on here. What is how do you do passive insight?
It's your wisdom modifier.
Oh, my wisdom modifier. Oh, it's -2.
Okay, so your passive insight is not that great. Never mind.
I think she likes the cheesy fries and she's just saving them for later.
Essentially, the sense you get is this is somebody who doesn't seem to care about you or the other people in this bar and is mostly just waiting. Not anxiously waiting, just waiting.
I'll wait too.
All right. So you are just waiting, or are you going to the professor?
I'm gonna bide my time just for a little bit and watch and see what the professor's doing. Seems kind of distracted with his stuff, so I'm gonna sit at the bar. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna see what the rest of my teammates do too.
Okay. Speaking of the rest of your teammates, Sebastian, Ampersand, Gina, what are you up to?
I was going to move over to the professor.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to point out that because Gina is a black and white tuxedo cat, and she did say she likes the shadows, she actually found a dark chair to sit on that is brightly lit, but the chair is dark, so she thinks she blends in.
Excellent.
Nice.
Do you want to make me a stealth roll for that, just for the kicks of it?
I would love to. Let's see.
I am curious how this will go.
So the 20 plus my dex, I guess.
Plus your dex, and if you're proficient in stealth.
Oh, right.
Obviously,
all right. Oh, this is gonna be a fun time. 19.
19, okay. It's actually pretty good. You think you're well hidden, and surprisingly enough, with the coloration, you managed to sit it at exactly the right angle that the light from the lamp shines on the white part of your tuxedo cap pattern. The black of your fur blends in with the shadow.
Triangle?
Yeah, you're essentially just a floating piece of light immersed in shadow. If you know you're there, you know you're there, but anyone who doesn't know you're there is gonna wonder about the cushioning of the seat. Ampersand?
I am continuing to sit and wait patiently at the bar, while keeping an eye on the half-orc and his halfling companions.
Noted.
A close eye.
All right. A close eye. Are you going to keep a close enough eye that I'm asking you to roll for it, or...?
I could roll for it, yes.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Make me a perception roll, just to see what you can see.
That is a 12.
12. Okay. Looking over these individuals, the first thing you can notice from their suit, their merc friend is carrying, they got money. And not just, oh, they've got some cash to throw around. They have money with a capital M.
I see.
Looking at it again, you notice this heavily armed half-orc. It's ringing a bell. And you realize, holy crap. This is Tiberius Winter. Tiberius Winter is the High Lord Marshal of the Coalition. The most highly respected military corporation in the verse. This is one of the most expensive mercenaries in the Milky Way. So that is what kind of money we're talking about. But that's all you can glean. Meanwhile, Sebastian, you're making your way over to the professor, who is definitely distracted, who is definitely anxious, excited, worried. You can see just all kinds of thoughts going through. You approach the professor, you kind of hear that moment, or you hear something slight rustling above you.
Look
Nothing
up.
happens though, unfortunately. Just
Do I see
maybe
anything
the
when I look up?
ventilation. For the moment, you see a little speck of dust fall from the ceiling, but it sounds like probably just the ventilation rattling around.
I'll file that information.
Do I
I'll
notice
roll up
this?
to
What is everyone's passive perception, out of curiosity? This is also, once again, your 10 plus your wisdom modifier.
Yeah, I figured
Or
it out. I
basically
found
10
a,
plus-
I found a little box. I found a little box. Mine is a 9. It's a big old 9.
9 for me too.
Oof.
Also 9. Also 9.
I appear to be proficient at that, so 16? No, 15.
Okay.
if you're proficient with perception, do you add that to the passive, or is it
Yes.
just the modifier? Okay.
You add
Yep, that's 16.
Okay. So yeah, Gina, Sebastian, you both take note of the fact that there's like this knocking, a little bit of dust falling from the ceiling, just, ventilation is the first thing to go and the last thing to be fixed. Always.
My ears switch a little.
Yeah, I'll quickly just on the comm set to the team. I was like, I saw dust come out of the ventilation. Beep.
Did you sneeze?
I can probably fix that.
I'm not. Yeah, maybe after our job.
We also
Or you
have
wait and sneeze later.
we also have apparently attracted, or at least our client has attracted, some illustrious attention. The half-orc that I noted earlier, that is Tiberius Winter.
I've heard
A
that
big
name.
name like him. A big name like him. He must have good reason for being here.
Seems like there's a lot of important people in this room right now, don't you think? I was just talking to that Nautilid who's a captain.
Did you see his boots?
hers.
Apologies.
And yes, they could use some work. I'm trying to get in there, figure it out. Did you notice that elven lady's hair?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Her hair is pretty cool.
have seen that. It's a very modern style. I will replicate it.
It's a high altitude.
I
like it.
hair. All right, I'm gonna go be close to our guy since there's like a half orc mercenary just sort of standing there. I'm gonna go stand by him. I hope that's okay with everybody. I don't want to draw a lot of attention, but you know.
Yeah, let's get to work here. We got a job to do, right?
You know what I think?
Yeah,
we
so
need
I'm gonna
someplace.
roll. I think I'm right up beside. Am I beside the professor?
You're making your way over.
Okay.
I'll come up and I just keep doing this with you. I keep tapping you on the shoulder as if you weren't made of metal. But I'll just tap you on the shoulder like a hi. And then come stand near the booth and just sort of lean my shoulder on it and just kind of look casual.
Casual, that's what we do, right?
Always.
Sure. Everyone's casual.
Is there an inconspicuous place in here that I could position myself to be within 15 feet of Tiberius?
The best thing.
A nearby booth.
Well, the best thing you could do is put yourself in one of the less well-lit booths.
There was a nice chair over there.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm within 15 feet of him, specifically.
Yeah. If you want to get within 15 feet, you can. I mean, how inconspicuous are you being? Are you trying to go unnoticed, or are you just trying to be sort of like...
I would rather he not know I'm there. I would rather he not know I'm there, if possible.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask for a stealth roll from you as well then.
It's much more my bag. 19.
Yeah. You sidle on over under the pretense of just, maybe having a chat with Gina or checking out something else. But in the process of it, you move and appear in such a way that you really don't attract any attention. Tiberius is scanning over and does seem to just look right past you, doesn't seem to notice you much at all.
Good.
I'm gonna give like just a little bit of like a salute at Professor Oren and also at the orc if I catch him when he's scanning over my way.
Okay. Professor Oren is way too distracted at the moment. Just like scratches out another word. Yes.
So I'll wheel right up to him. Oh, carry on.
Yeah, Tiberius just kind of raises an eyebrow in your direction. That's it. That's all you get. So, Ampersand, what is it that you're trying to do that needs to be within 15 feet? Because you got something up your sleeve, and I want to know what it is.
Well, I need to be within 15 feet of my destination if I want to jump somewhere. So, if things go down and he begins acting against our interests, I want to be able to be the first one to reach him.
Okay. Yeah. As you all kind of get a feel for what's going on, get a feel for what's happening, you hear a little bit more dwarven cursing behind you as the slightly grumpy dwarf gets a little grumpier, having lost yet another hand to the beautiful lady in a red dress in front of him, who seems to delight in nothing so much as his pain at the moment. That sound itself seems to catch the professor's attention and shakes him a little out of the reverie. gathers up the notes, begins walking, and this is then where, once again, there's Gina and Sebastian, you once again hear this rustling overhead. And I just need everyone to make a quick wisdom saving throw.
That's exciting.
We're all going to be so good at this.
Quick saving throw.
Team
First
whiz.
roll of the night. This is a
Not
wisdom save.
proficient in that. Oh,
I've
Okay.
never had a
18.
party
Yeah,
with wisdom as a dump stat before. This is amazing.
That's a 12.
Okay.
What's my save? What's my save?
Oh, I have an actual 0.
impressive.
I love you.
Take 5.
I have a plus 6,
okay.
but I didn't roll great. I've got 13.
Okay. So, ampersand, Jackson, for you, all you notice is the metal panels up ahead rattling. There's a couple of flakes of rust that fall down onto the gambling table. And suddenly, the lady there spills her drink over her dress, scatters playing cards everywhere, and the dwarf in front of her draws a blaster and just levels it right across the bar.
Wow.
That's what you two notice. The others, because you actually made the save, so Gina, Sebastian, Ryan, you notice the small flakes tumbling down from the rusting panel in the ceiling above, and you notice the two people who are standing there looking up simultaneously in some surprise, and then suddenly there's this crashing and clanging, and about a foot-long rodent with long blue-gray fur busts out of the panel, lands with a thump on the tabletop. Carmen lets out a scream. Sorry, you don't know his name. The lady lets out a scream. The creature rolls up onto its feet, mouth full of what looks like circuitry, and then scampers away, spilling the drink, scattering playing cards. As it hits the floor, it turns sharply and just starts running the direction of Professor Oren, which is right about when the dwarf draws the blaster and points it in that same direction towards the professor. So, three of you saw this. Ampersand and Jackson, you just saw things go smash, drink go spill, and suddenly there's a blaster pointed at the professor.
Yeah, well, I think Jackson, would react to that at the very least, missing the rodent entirely, but would probably try to move between, the blaster and the professor. Move towards the dwarf.
I draw both my pistols.
I want to chop
You
this
me too.
rodent in half.
I can't hear you, Die.
Diane, you muted.
Frank, yes, I'm muted. It happened to me first. This is karma. This is karma. Gina, Sebastian, Ryan, you made the save, so would you please roll the initiative because you get to act first, as it were.
Okay.
Never
And
had
this is...
advantage in initiative before. This is so exciting.
I know, it's a whole new world.
It is, but I rolled 15 on both dice, so it's irrelevant. 19.
How?
I rolled 17.
I was rolling 2.
All right.
Oh, good. That's 24.
19.
Oh,
Okay. So Ryan, you've got the best reflexes. That was a noise, I'm sorry. Which means you get to go first.
How close to me is the rodent?
Probably along like 15, 20 feet along, just got past the professor. Actually, can you
All right,
give me a quick nature check? So that's an intelligence-based roll.
Oh, good, not wisdom. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I'm throwing you a
But
bone
it's
here.
12. Yes, thank you. It's 12.
So, with a 12, you can recall, based on the brief flash of what you saw, this is something called a thwirl. This is a rodent that does have a bit of an innate psionic field that prevents it from being seen. That is a very common infestation on ships, stations, anywhere that has a bit of tech that it can get its teeth into and start chewing at the wires and maybe get some of that sweet, sweet silicate.
All right, then. I mean, it's gross, but instead I'm going to try to command the lady in the dress with the gun to drop it. And that's a DC.
She's not the one with the gun, that's the dwarf.
Well, then he needs to drop it. So I'm going to, it's a wisdom saving throw, DC 14.
Okay. That is the commander. Come on. Wisdom, you said?
Yes.
Never mind, it doesn't matter. That was a natural one.
Yes. So how this looks is my eyes just flash a little bit of extra teal, and then I speak, but my words sound like 4 people speaking at once, like an old lady and like a little child and me. And yeah, I just say, drop it, fucker.
There's a brief moment's hesitation, and then, in a very literal interpretation, the door's hand just opens and the blaster just drops right to the floor, just clatters.
And I got a self-satisfied look, and I'm also going to activate my my planar focus and do elemental air, which is going to increase my movement speed. This is my bonus action. And stand from being prone, and opportunity attacks have disadvantage against me. So I am channeling energy from the plane of Earth. And that's my turn.
Okay. As it goes at this point, where are we here? Sorry, hang. That's the page. And, everyone got such great initiative. It's ridiculous. Gina, yours was 15?
19.
19, okay. And Sebastian also had 19, yeah? Or was it 17? Or am I just mixing up numbers in my head now because I forgot to write it down?
17.
17, okay, so I did remember that correctly. Which means Gina's next up.
Alright, so I do draw both of my pistols,
Mm-hmm.
which I can apparently do with initiative, which is wonderful. And I keep one gun pointed at the dwarf because he seems shady, but then I level one at the swirl because they're not people, right?
It's a rodent.
Like definitely not people. Like they're not rodent people that this person is.
Definitely just a rodent. I see what you're doing.
All right, so that one I shoot.
Oh boy.
Make sure it's not people first.
Yeah, well, I thought I would check. There are a lot of different people out there. There are a lot of different, they
Exactly,
look
yeah. No, I
different
feel
ways.
that.
They behave different ways. He could have a whole culture. I don't know. Anyway,
World culture generally seems to revolve around the dismantling and consumption of technological parts.
yeah, I roll a 24 to shoot this guy, or shoot this rodent who is not a human and not a person.
I'm quite sure that a 24 will, in fact, be a successful roll.
Okay, with my repeater,
Oh
of
boy.
course.
Yeah. Regular old
That is
blaster
2d6
pistol.
radiant, so that's 7 damage.
Oh boy. Yeah. How do I best describe this? It's fried. That's the description.
okay.
You instinctively
Can I eat this?
one gun at the dwarf. Not after you've shot it with a blaster, no.
Why not?
1 second it's a person, and the other is it a meal?
Now is it food? Yeah.
We established it wasn't a person. Be a meal. Look, it was a quick kill.
Yeah. It was in fact a quick kill. It is, however, currently the rodent version of charcoal, and unless you really, really have a hankering for that carbon content,
Hey, you know
could
that
use it to
grill
draw with,
flavor
maybe.
is the best. Sorry, what?
Please don't eat the rodent, Gina.
All right, fine. Whatever makes you happy, all right?
I'm just worried about your digestive tract.
I'll be fine. I've eaten a lot of things before. I'm gonna eat a lot of things after. It'll be fine. You see a gold glint go across Gina's eyes. She's just staring at you. All right, that's fine. She's done.
I think cats eat rats. It's okay.
Mm.
Yeah, we do. They're pretty tasty. Probably should have used the laser claws, but hey, and blaster works well enough. I love barbecue.
Where do I go
Wait,
from
what?
here?
Is there a problem?
Hey, sometimes you gotta eat
I
a
don't want to
rodent.
waste food.
There's
Perfectly
like,
edible.
everyone around you is looking at you at the moment, just with some with shock, some with surprise. You actually get a slightly approving nod from Tiberius, yeah.
Can I eat the rat as a... the swirl as a free action?
No.
Damn. All right.
Firstly, because it's 10 feet away from you, and secondly, because it's not a free action to eat a thing.
Damn. I'll get there. Don't worry.
Bonus action,
Sebastian,
eat floral.
we'll have to talk to Mage Hand Press about whether or not eating your opponent constitutes a free action, but that's a whole other thing. So
I might be a little hungry.
We'll consider that Gina's turn. Sebastian?
Because I was probably quite close to the professor anyway, I made my way
Mhm.
over. I'll close up really right on him, and just quickly say, "Sir, I am part of the security team that you requested, and I'd kindly like for you to stand behind me. You seem to be in danger right now." And as I'll do that, I'll bonus action, because Sebastian is like short and squat, kind of like almost pear-shaped, about 5'4", and made of smooth kind of white hexagonal ceramic tiles. They're Vect, but they've got that composite armor to form plates over a metal frame. So, but they're all quite roundy. There's no angles or harsh lines because they look non-threatening in their role. So he's kind of like zooms over. He's like a bit of a kind of blob, and then after he says that, he'll sort of turn around and see where the danger was coming from, and use their construct form, the druid wild shape ability, and change into a juggernaut configuration. And so they go from the short squat thing, and the tiles will sort of like part, and more tiles will fill in between, and they grow to like 6'2", and just become this juggernaut, and just become beast. And still with a small voice, I'll just say, please stand behind me, sir. And then just point their repulsor gauntlet, scan the room, looking around, and just scan, and hold their action until something gets close. Defensive protocols enabled.
The professor standing behind you just kind of looks up, looks at the still smoking remains of a thwirl, looks back up at you. I think the danger is past, actually.
There's still a dwarf with a gun. Oh no, did you make them... Ryan made the dwarf drop the gun, didn't you?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but he can pick it up, so maybe we should go restrain the dwarf.
Yeah.
The dwarf is not, in fact, moving to pick up the gun, and is, in fact, looking at the gun, like, looks around at everyone else, like, anyone shoot that rat?
Yeah, I
Oh,
shot the
yeah.
rat.
Good! Smell it
It's a
from here.
squirrel,
Dead
anyway.
things get in my workshop all the time. Keep trying to exterminate them. Doesn't work.
All right, I'm gonna go up to his
Yes.
table. I'm gonna just take his gun. I'm gonna try to hold him.
Hey, hey, hey,
Because I want
hey,
to
hands
what the
off.
hell he was doing.
Hands
Yeah,
off.
no, you were just shooting a gun. You know, you were just aiming a gun at somebody here in the middle of this bar. So
Yeah,
maybe you
your-
need to talk
your
about like
friend
what's going
over
on
there
and not about the rat.
I was aiming a gun at the rat. Your friend
Yeah,
over
bullshit.
there drew 2 guns, and you're not disarming that one, are you?
Yeah, no, I know, because
You're
that's my
welcome to
friend. But
try.
you just drew a gun. Yeah, it weren't the rat you were trying to shoot, and we know it.
Can I insight that?
Can you?
Yeah, well, yeah, I forgot about that.
This is a wonderful
I forgot we
question.
talked about that. Okay, yeah. That is a 20, not natural.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay, so with a 20, this dwarf is grumpy, as mentioned. But the anger currently, and especially the, shall we say, the violence, not directed at the professor. There's, there's a genuine sort of, you get the sense of there's a deep-rooted loathing for these pests. And looking at the dwarf, you can see, like, the smudged fingers, and despite trying to clean up a little, tool belt and everything, this is a mechanist. This is a builder. Someone like that, on seeing a thwirl, their natural instinct would be basically grab the nearest wrench, spanner, anything, and get rid of it. So
I believe
those
perhaps
protestations.
I believe perhaps this is a false alarm. I do not believe that he intended to aim his gun at the professor. Perhaps
Are you
we
sure?
should let him go.
You're
I am
totally sure,
positive.
ampersand. All right. I mean, he looks like a suspicious type, but I'll trust you. I sort of shake him just a little bit and go, my friend better be right. You better not be pointing this gun at nothing but rats. If I see that gun come out and point anywhere near anybody in this bar, I'm going to be right back on you. And I
Right.
reluctantly set the
Back.
gun back on the table.
Immediately grabs it, shoves it into one of the many pockets. As you back up, you just take 2 steps, and then there's the bump. And you turn around, and you've actually just bumped into Sir Heliodorus, who's standing behind you. This time taps you on the shoulder. Just goes,
Oh,
if I may interrupt for a moment. While I appreciate your help, I am the chief of security on this station. And if anyone is handing out threats, it should be me.
All right. Go threaten him.
I will, when he poses a threat.
Okay. I'll be listening. Good to see you again.
Cyrdan's just grumpy. Aren't you, Cyrdan? How many credits have you lost today? It's like, none of your business.
Well, I know I trust grumpy people with guns. And then I go lean back on the booth near the professor.
Grumpy people with
I
guns
holstered both of
describes
my
half
pistols.
the population.
At this point, I've just recovered from the the crit fail wisdom save. and like realize that all this stuff has happened. Whoa,
At
what?
this point, yeah, so, like you said, at this point, you've finally caught on
was
to the fact that it
fast
was, in
shooting.
fact, a rodent.
Oh well, way to disarm that dwarf, though. I mean, and yeah, some security they have in here, huh? Everybody's got a gun of some kind.
Yeah, they're a little slow on the draw.
Yeah. Well, myself included, apparently. Let me. I'd like
to.
I'd like to use my adaptable Omni tool, which is embedded. So unlike Sebastian, Jackson is just this mess of parts and tools and gadgets, all just kind of attached to this big exosuit. Just a random collection of different stuff, and so on my left arm, left wrist, is this metal plate, and embedded in there is this Omni tool that kind of can scan things and do other stuff. And so I'd like to, push a button and open that up, and this scanner pops out, and it can scan the room for electrical devices within 30 feet, I believe it is.
Okay.
Might as well check out, see if there's anything else funny in here, right? And also, just another, detail. Jackson has an AI companion that's kind of built into the suit named Mecha, and Mecha can also help with like arithmetic and basic mathematical things. Mecha, let's do a scan. Anything funny in here?
It's the presence, number, and type of technological devices.
There's a real cute
That
cat.
is gonna
just
give
saying.
you it's one of those cases where you do the scan and then suddenly the readout just keeps scrolling.
It's just huge. Yeah.
It's just devices in here are like, it starts with everything that's on you, everything on Sebastian and your acquaintances. Professor Oren's got like 20 different things on him. Tiberius is just one list unto himself. The sense you get from all of this, though, is basically everybody here is armed in some way or another. Which, when you go to a seedy bar in a seedy space station, no surprises there. You do get on the readout that the other amoeboid, the one that's just kind of sitting patiently at the front, actually has a belt of grenades.
Close quarters combat. I like that.
Yeah.
Security in this
And
is
it-
just non-existent.
Yeah,
than
no,
that,
Ryan should be in charge.
Let's see, the main things that really stand out toward you are essentially, well, the weapons that everyone's got. The Nautilus suit is itself, like, it is essentially one big thing, but it is composed of so many different components. Like, that you've got the filtration equipment, this, that, whatnot. But at least on the Nautilus, the giant, massive rocket-powered hammer is very evident.
Yeah, I'm interested in that thing. I'd like to make a data check to see if anything on the professor seems strange, interesting, unique.
Okay. Let me know how data check goes. This is one of those aspects of...
Yeah, it's one of the so it's an intelligence-based skill, and so I can just... Should I roll it or?
That's one of the dark matter skills. Yes, go ahead and roll it.
Yeah. It's data, and data is sort of the software one, whereas technology is like the hardware one. 19.
Okay. The professor doesn't actually have anything special on him. The most special thing he's currently got is a remote control for the holo projector. other than that, everything is basically as you'd expect. You've got, your pen, data pad, standard things that everybody's got.
Sure.
It is at this point, though, in the aftermath of the chaos and everything else, that the professor does in fact come over to you. I think. Actually, what's everyone's technology skill at?
Technology skill.
Tech
I
is
suspect mine might be a joke.
+3.
+4.
Yeah, plus nothing.
Ask Smarty Pants. +3.
Right.
Is wisdom based or is it intelligence based?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. That's
Then it would be +2.
-1.
Oh boy, yeah. So it is, Jackson, as I thought, just making sure there hadn't been any last minute changes or anything. So yes, Professor Oren approaches you, Jackson. A little shaken, a little rattled, just gives Sebastian a good pat on where the shoulder would be, the sort of or reaching up as high as the gnome possibly can, just sort of like, thanks, my friend. Knew I hired you for a reason.
You are welcome, sir.
And then walks over to Jackson. Says, you, I hired in part because of your technological prowess. This may be so mundane, but could you please have a look at the holo projector? It doesn't seem to be working or responding to my commands, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what's wrong with it. Here I am designing things to take us into dead magic zones, and I can't... Well, would you care to have a look?
You could not have asked me soon enough. I will take a look at that projector immediately.
May I assist you, Jackson, as I can also speak to machines? Maybe I can aid you in this.
All right, let's go, but you might need to change back to your other form. Neat trick, though.
I will stay in this form for a while longer. I don't need to be smaller to talk to a machine.
Fair enough. You're just intimidating me.
Oh, my apologies. And I'll shrink down back into my normal Vect form.
Okay.
When you do that, Jackson tries to quickly take a look at how the operation of the suit works, and how you're able to shift into.
Yeah. So you see the ceramic hexes, they sort of part, and then some of them sink behind, and then so their form becomes smaller by absorbing a lot of the tiles. Essentially, they go back into their normal form, and you get glimpses of magic wires and stuff inside.
On second thought, maybe better to stay in the big form for protection purposes.
I can only do it a limited amount of times, Jackson. I should save it. I know what you're trying to do. You can study this later if you like.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay. So you're checking out the holo projector?
Yes.
All right. In this case, please make me another technology check. Or make a first. Data was the last one. And with Sebastian helping you, that is going to give you advantage. So roll twice and take the higher number.
It is a 19.
19. Perfect. You have a quick look at it. Look at the cables. They're plugged in. The wires are ready. Pretty much everything's fine, except it seems to be just stuck trying to perform a simple operation. There is a universal solution to this. It needs to be turned off and then turned on again.
Jackson pretends to do a whole bunch of complicated things and then flips the power switch off and back on.
Okay. Would you care to give me a deception roll just to see how well you can fake your way through?
Sebastian is watching this as well and just like sort of like glances at Jackson back at the holopad.
Yeah. 14 on the deception.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to make a pretty good show of just like, the wires, and just like pull out different tools, fiddle with them. You're not really doing anything, you're just kind of like poking the tool against the surface and flip the switch. And it's up and running again. Professor Oren immediately breathes a sigh of relief. There's this moment. That's a hurdle I didn't really need. Oh boy.
That is what
You're
you
getting
get
a
when you
bonus
pay for the
defense.
best.
Oh, that's why I did. Bonus for you. So, all of you, now that we've dealt with, you can see someone's actually sweeping the carcass of the rodent away.
I could eat
now that we've
that.
dealt with, if you want to roast the world, there's places on the station to get plenty of them.
But
Anyway.
that one was free.
I'll pay for your other one. Just come on here. We don't want everyone listening in, all
You're
right?
welcome to buy me a drink. I'll take a drink.
I'll buy you a drink.
You don't want a drink from here.
Thank you.
Well, okay, maybe you do.
No, why not? Are they bad?
There's better places to go, and besides, no drinking on the job.
I think I do a pretty good job, so can fudge a little.
I hired
I'm
you
just
to
gonna
be
get you a
sober.
mojito, like really quick, and I'll be right back to this meeting. We all good with that?
Well, thank you.
No, just stay here for now. You can get the mojito afterwards, yeah?
All right. I owe you one, Gina.
Right, fine.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. That is so generous.
Yeah. So, you all know why you're here, right? You got the brief, and you know this. You know what I'm about to unveil, yeah?
Well,
Yes, you mentioned something about the matrix, the Teflon matrix.
Telfo Matrix. I was humble and named it after myself.
Oh, okay.
The
yeah, like you.
Yes.
hologram skipped at that point. Sorry.
And it's all right. It's quite fine. Holograms, unreliable technology. Every now and then you just have that, buffering. Anyway. The point is, what I've invented will allow us to travel into dead magic zones. All of us, not just us gnomes. Give a look at Jackson of just like, you get what I'm talking about here. Not just us gnomes, but everyone. Arcane technology in dead magic zones. They'll no longer be dead magic, they will just be regular magic zones. Imagine the possibilities, huh?
Is that a good idea?
Well, I think so.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Many
but you're a
think
little
so.
biased.
Yeah, but some people maybe don't think so.
Like,
No?
what's wrong with taking a ship?
What do you mean?
Can you not just take a ship there, or?
Oh, it's dead magic. The ship goes dead, and then you go dead.
So fire
Take
some
me to breathe
rockets?
air from the ship.
Every
I guess that's
you know,
important.
you know how it is. All of our tech, it's all arcane. We all use arcane energy. Well, except us gnomes, because we kind of
Not all of
didn't
it.
have that. Yeah.
Right, but
Alright.
okay, you're going to
Alright,
open
that's
up a whole
smart.
bunch of new territory that people can go to, which is great, I guess. We need more space.
Exactly.
But what that means is you're also going to start people fighting over new territory, right? So probably
That's
you've got some
right.
people who kind of want to get your stuff and keep other people from having it.
And that's why you're here, to make sure that that doesn't happen. I have the
By
prototype. I'm
shooting
the only
them,
one with
or?
the prototype. Well, hopefully it won't come to that.
Oh,
Right,
well
now
then why
just
did you hire
pay
me?
attention. Well, in case it comes to shooting, you're good around.
Oh. Okay.
Would
We're
the
also good at rodent
ship still
control.
Would the ship protect people such as myself in the dead magic zones?
Friend, if you entered a dead magic zone, you would shut down immediately.
Yes, I'm aware. That's why I don't think this is such a great invention, but...
Well, if you have this on you, if I manage to make it work properly on a larger scale, you and all your kind can freely travel the verse without any fear. That's the whole point. Like you said,
okay.
it opens up not just one world, so many worlds of new possibilities. I'm about to start my presentation, and I just want to ask you all to keep your eyes out, make sure rodents are the only funny business here. Whatever happens as a result of this is gonna happen. Nothing's gonna stop me from making the verse a better place.
Is the prototype close? Do you know where the prototype is? Right now?
I know where it is. I know where it is.
Do you want to share that?
Actually, no.
Do you have like, backup blueprints or something? Because apparently there's like rodents all over the place that like to eat technology. So if you put your prototype anywhere, that it could just be, they're.
I'm not an idiot, my dear. I'm not an idiot. Now, just get in position, all of you.
Wow.
Keep an eye, and I hired you to guard me, so now it's time you do your job. I think you're all probably fabulous people, and maybe we can have a chat after all this is done. But for now, I'd like you to do the guard part of your bodyguard job.
Right.
Of course, my dear professor.
That's what you want.
I believe we are all ready for when the ship hits the fan. Aha, aha, aha.
I'm pretty good. That was pretty good.
I
I like that one.
I have
something
sensed
funny because
the humor.
Ship.
Can you explain it to me?
Haha.
Yeah, right over my head.
Well, this said ship instead of ship. There was a ship.
Did you not
It's
sense
okay.
the humor? I sensed
Ryan
the humor.
understands.
No.
Even I sensed the humor.
I guess that's funny.
Haha.
Not that hard.
All right.
You need a mojito. I think if you had the mojito, you'd have gotten it. So that's okay. We'll fix
Yeah,
that.
maybe. All right.
Anyway, drinks later. Presentation now. And the professor actually hefts from under the table a, for a gnome, fairly large-sized mechanical device. Just kind of goes, told you I knew where it was. Puts it on like a
It
backpack
appears
and
to be
takes
right
to the
there.
stage. And this actually is probably, I'm looking at my watch even though I'm not wearing it. This is probably a good time to take a quick break because we are all human, even those of us who are playing non-humans. So this is going to be our moment for a quick bio break, and when we come back, it's time for a presentation. So stick around. Do keep chatting because I haven't been keeping too much of an eye on it because I've got so many different things to keep an eye on, but I'm sure you've amused my players, you have amused me when I've checked, so... Ah yes, I see someone here is a vengeful ghost! Anyway, taking a quick break, so see you all in about 10 minutes. Ciao, ciao.
Do you remember the robots on Interstellar? Oh, here we go.
Maybe.
Alrighty. We are back. We are hydrated. We are stretched. We are refreshed. One of us has decided to actually change into a tuxedo for, I guess, character reasons.
I thought it was appropriate.
It does seem very appropriate.
If I'm gonna be a
So-
tuxedo cat, I might as well be a tuxedo cat.
There you go. And I appreciate the rainbow tie. Right on. So, getting back into it. The presentation is about to begin. The professor has hoisted this device and is walking up to the stage. Has told you all to take your places. So, where are your places in this
Right
bar?
beside him. Right beside the professor. Literally.
Okay.
Like maybe just back a little bit and to the side.
So on the stage, slightly behind.
Yep.
Okay. I assume standing out of the way of the actual projector.
Yes, yeah. Just but very close.
Okay.
How high up is the stage? Is it like person size
Not
high? Is it
very.
like a small?
It's like 3 foot high, you know.
Okay.
Sort of,
I'm toward the side. I'm on the ground on the level of the audience, but I have like a leg, like that rum bottle with like the pirate who's got his leg up on the rock. I'm like doing
Captain
that.
Morgan, yeah.
Yes, that one. I'm like doing that, like on the side of the stage, and again, just trying to look like I'm more just like, that's right, I'm here. But keeping an eye on the audience.
Okay, so striking a confident pose.
That's right. I know I'm good.
No narcissism here, none whatsoever.
Nah. It's just confidence. We can have this debate. I just know.
Jackson, where you at?
I think Jackson is hanging back slightly, just off to the side.
In front of or on the stage?
If it's not, so Jackson doesn't necessarily have the best sense of etiquette. So if it's not super weird, he's probably on the stage towards the back a little bit.
Okay.
Not mindful of sort of how this might affect the presentation.
You would basically need, the professor would in fact be telling you, Sebastian and Jackson would be kind of shooing you to opposite ends, just like, don't get in the way.
Oh, sorry.
And
Jackson will step off just to the side. Yeah.
I think I will maintain my post at the bar, keeping an eye on those in the room we have determined might be here for nefarious purposes.
Gina?
Would it be reasonable to assume that since everybody has seen me draw 2 repeaters, that perhaps my presence is now known?
It would be more than reasonable to assume that you have been noticed. If not even for
Okay.
the blaster, it's for the repeated insistence of eating a recently blasted rodent.
Look, I'm
is
not
not a
going to waste
common
perfectly
thing.
good food, okay? Fine. All right, so I'm just gonna be real comfortable sitting at a chair just behind like the audience. You know, keeping an eye at them. And in fact, if they drop the lights, all they will be able to see is gold eyes staring at them from the darkness.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty, and for purposes of this, to avoid any confusion, and because, to make sure we don't all end up talking over each other in the process of playing this out, I'm going to ask for initiative rolls so that we have a set order and we don't just all end up going, because, yeah, that happens.
23 for Gina.
Wow.
12.
Oh boy.
17.
16 for Jackson.
So, and 17, Jackson 16, Sebastian?
It's a natural 1. Makes it a 3. Oh dear.
That's hardly great.
No. I think Sebastian's got sort of like staring at the prototype. It's just like, oh, what is that cool machine? I must talk to it.
Yeah. Okay. So, at this point, the professor himself is taken to the stage. He's wearing this mechanical device strapped pretty much like a backpack over his shoulders. He's mumbling a little absent-mindedly to himself, plops a data tablet and a couple of other fairly odd-looking, although to Jackson not all that odd-looking gadgets. It's essentially gnomish tinkering and engineering devices, the kind that don't require arcane things, and then a couple that do require arcane magic. You know, a proficient engineer will work with any tools. One of the assistants presses a button on a small device which immediately goes and the what is obviously now a small drone camera takes off, flies towards him. He doesn't even notice it at first, and there's that moment of, oh gosh! A few more moments of gathering himself again. With relief, he starts smiling for the camera. Everyone else in this bar is now beginning to gather for the speech. Everyone's taking their seats in front of the stage. The only people not doing so are the bartenders and Sir Heliodorus, who, well, the bartenders stay at the bar, tending it as they do. And Sir Heliodorus is just leaning back, sipping a drink. Lights in the room suddenly dim, turn purple. Everything goes a little hard to see, and the spotlight now goes on Professor Oren. At this point, are you doing anything as people gather?
I'm just watching the flow of people right now.
Okay. I believe Ampersand, you said you were keeping your eye on someone in particular? Tiberius. Okay. Would you like to make me... Yeah. Get to you next round. Would you like to make me a perception... No, make an insight check. Ampersand.
That's a natural 1. I'd like to invoke one of my quicks.
Okay. So it is definitely a natural 20 that you just rolled. Absolutely. We all heard it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was really
Excellent.
impressive.
It
It was trolling you with the 1, and then it just flipped over to 20.
Hmm.
Almost like that a mind of its own. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, as you stare at him, Tiberius is sitting at one end of the front row next to the halfling in an all-black suit. At one point, he just lifts a hand to shield eyes and starts scanning around, looking around again. With that insight, you can tell for sure that Tiberius is doing exactly what you are doing, which is looking around for any potential signs of danger, looking around for any suspicious action. Much like you, this man is clearly here to be a bodyguard and to prevent any kind of violence from coming to his clients. Ryan, I believe you also were going to do something?
Yeah, I'd like to use empathy on the lady in red.
Okay.
So surface
So that is
thoughts
again-
and expression bonds. Surface feelings, sorry.
Yeah. Anticipation. Not unexpected, given what is about to happen. There's anticipation, excitement, a thrill.
Okay.
And also some minor annoyance about the drink being spilled.
I don't have prestidigitation. I can't help them.
Right. You know, I said initiative order, and then we completely ignored initiative order.
What?
Hey, you know how it goes.
I know I'm last, so I'm just,
Good thing I didn't.
I'll just wait.
Yeah.
I think
Gina,
so.
you would have been,
I'm just.
sorry, going by initiative, Gina would have been first and accidentally skipped. So, Gina, anything in particular you are doing or keeping your eye on, or
Staring at you. In
I'm flattered.
judgment. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You look quite nice today. But
Thank you.
mostly I'm just looking at the crowd, trying to see if anybody looks like they're new here. You know, they weren't there before, and it's suddenly, like, you know, a new entity, possibly armed.
Okay. I can tell you at the moment, the only faces you see here are the same ones who were here when you came into the bar.
Okay, I would also like to check the condition of the fries that were abandoned.
Cold and soggy.
Okay, yeah, well, I would like to use sleight of hand to take one. And
Please make a sleight of hand roll. Would you like to use a crit for that?
22.
Hungry.
Oh, no,
hungry
sorry.
kitty.
Oh, no, you know what? I will use a crit for that. It's actually really good.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
God, of course you do.
Oh, I love Gina. So good.
Give me those fries.
Okay. So yeah, if you're using a crit on it, it is easy as, well, taking fries from an elven lady, apparently, which is you kind of sidle up, and as she's leaving to take a seat by the stage, you just quickly nab out, dig your hand in, and claws extended. You've got one curly fry on each claw. And just, yeah. These were always yours,
Delicious.
clearly. They
Could
are
use a little more
soggy,
texture, but that's okay.
greasy. You can taste like hints of spice that may have once actually had flavor, but probably
Like-
has been in the storeroom for
3
way
years
more
ago?
months than it should have been.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
at this point it's lightly flavored dust.
Hey, you know, at the end of the day, it still fits in my face, so I'm just gonna eat it.
You know, I'm gonna adopt that motto, me personally. Jackson,
If it fits.
Jackson is so I'm adjusting a couple like bolts and screws, sort of sonic screwdriver style, just on the suit, and trying to kind of look intimidating. Like, this is a job, so Jackson really, is about the work, and so wants to have like a good presence here, standing up, near the professor, kind of looking out over the room.
Okay. All right. And Sebastian.
Sebastian is scanning the room using their thermal sight to see if there are heat signatures which are hidden behind things that they can't just normally see. The hidden heat.
In this case, with thermal sight active, well, there isn't anyone hidden. There is no heat signature that is also visible as a person with your regular sight.
Sure.
So no one's got, an invisibility field or something going.
Okay.
There's a brief flare as you've got this, as one of the halflings you can see is also actually just flicking on a lighter and, well, lighting up a smoke. Because in this verse, that's illegal indoors.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't be surprised in
other
the
than
bar
that
either.
momentary flare, there's nothing that catches you as there's nothing off here. There's no one or no, literally no body that you can't also normally see.
Am I able to say anything as well?
Of course.
Can I use the druid ability machine code? So
that's configuration druid. What does that do?
Starting when you choose at the circle, you gain the ability to speak the native code language of machines. You can use this language to interact with arcane terminals and supercomputers from range, and to communicate with constructs, even if you do not share a language. So I'm just gonna I don't know if the prototype, the device that the professor's wearing will be able to respond, but I just kind of want to whisper up, "Hey, how are you feeling? I know you must be nervous. Big presentation, but you got this. We're all here to keep you safe. We believe in you."
Oh god, I love this. Oh god, let's see. Does this prototype speak the same code? It's a prototype, so the response you get is basic and slightly broken. It essentially gives you the response of, okay, no worries. And even that is like, you can sense it's, in terms of technology, it's not quite arcane, not quite gnomish. It's like, it's got the base of your, of the arcane tech language that you were speaking, but it is definitely just been put together and literally just a prototype. So it's it's like trying to communicate with somebody who's only been in Spanish for a week,
Yeah, I think my druid core is just like, oh, precious baby, so new.
Oh. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Oh boy.
Biblioteca?
Ignore that. There's absolutely Spanish in space, but not coming from this machine. Okay, and with that, the professor looks up from the table now, gives a nod to the audience, to everyone, and then one more at the bar, just kind of like that. Cheers. Pushes a button on one of the small devices in front of him. There's a slightly awkward pause as for a moment nothing happens. There's a soft whirring sound. A couple people
this.
in the
You can do
audience
it.
start shifting anxiously in their seat, and then all at once there's this burst of light. Jackson and Sebastian, you have that moment of just like staring right at a projector as it comes on. And the device itself projects a massive star map, just suddenly filling the entire room. Starting with projecting and then filling out the entire room with a breathtaking all-round view of the verse. A couple members in the audience let out a little gasp. And Professor Oren starts speaking, as is his custom, and is apparently the custom in engineering circles, begins his presentation with a terrible joke, going, "Well, all of the known verse here, so beautiful, it makes your goggles fog."
Wow.
Someone just kind of
Ampersand is
sense of humor
actually
again.
laughing. Ha! 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 Ha!
I have also sensed the humor.
I have elected not
Ryan
to
just
laugh
looks
at this.
impressed.
oh boy. Yeah. Well, nobody else laughs at this point. There's a confused giggle when Ampersand starts laughing, and then Sebastian, and there's that moment of like, wait, why are they laughing? And Professor then just wipes a bit of nervous sweat off. This sort of like, all right, let's get going. So, our civilizations have redefined the word impossible for millions of years. And yet, until now, gnomish technology, my people's technology, could traverse the dead magic zones. And while the government on Nibellion would never agree with my stance, it is my firm belief that all races and all civilizations, everyone in this verse deserves the chance to access the many worlds within these dead magic zones. And that is precisely why I have created the Talfo Matrix, technology that projects a field allowing magic in the zones where magic has always been an impossibility. It takes a moment to pause, and at this, most of the figures standing there start clapping loudly. The other amoeboid in an almost like a little bit of a warbling call that it seems to have picked up from, possibly from one of the Avia Ra planets, is calling out and cheering. Of course, there's also a couple just watching silently. During all this applause, the dwarf, who previously was already grumpy, stands up from his seat in the back row and starts loudly booing the professor, which, in immediate reaction, Captain Lysandra, the Nauthlid, stomps over very literally just this boom, boom, and starts pushing him back down into his seat. The dwarf does not wish to be pushed, and there's just this moment of shoving between them. Are you doing anything? Let's go the initiative order. Gina, are you doing anything?
Yeah, I'm making sure that he knows that I am looking at him now because I am clapping with my pistols. Yeah, good show.
Seems
Good
dangerous.
show.
Yeah. All right.
I just nod
That's a
a lot.
pretty clear demonstration. Ampersand?
I'm going to do a quick scan of the rest of the room to make sure this isn't a distraction, trying to cover up someone else's approach.
Smart.
Okay. Everyone else seems to be trying to ignore the scuffle and keep their eyes on. Is there anyone in particular you're looking at?
The other amoeboids has seemed quiet. I mean, they were actively cheering, but they are also armed, and they're the ones that seem quiet throughout this. I'm going to have a look at them.
Okay. Please make me a perception check.
Yeah, okay. It's a
What
big
is that?
9. It's a big 9.
Okay. That other amoeboid is sitting there, just paying attention. Jackson?
Just to clarify, our job was to protect the professor, not the device itself, right?
Well, both. You're here to
Okay,
protect
okay.
the professor and make sure the device doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
All right. So Jackson shoots a look at Ryan, who had kind of previously been watching that dwarf, and then sort of moves just a little bit closer to the professor and the device.
Okay. Noted.
And maybe ready my repeater also.
Okay. So just kind of getting your hands on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Ryan?
our chief of security, Helia Horace, doing anything about this disruption in the presentation?
Nothing whatsoever.
No, they're not.
Just kind of sipping a drink, looking at it, rolling in his eyes like,
I would like to see if I can get a sense from their interactions whether this is authentic, like an insight kind of situation.
okay.
Make
an insight roll.
Yeah.
You've got crits if you
Hey,
want
that's
to use
a
them.
3! Oh, yes! I want to do
got-
that. Not a crit. Yes. Heck
Yeah.
yes.
There you go.
Is this genuine or is this a distraction?
The dwarf seems genuinely displeased by the news that the professor has just announced. And the Nautilus seems to very much want to hear the rest of what's being said and doesn't want the interruption of some jackass booing away what, for the Nautilus, could be the biggest blessing they've ever received. Actually, yeah, quick question. Have you all read up on the Nautilids? No. The Nautilids, their home planet is destroyed. The liquid that was their home, the oceans that covered the entire planet, are no longer habitable. And they have not found any other planet which can actually support them. That's why they have the suits. That's why all of their ships are a massive fleet of always searching for a new home world. I haven't found one yet in verse, but maybe there's one in the Dead Magic Zones.
He was alive.
Well, knowing that it's not a distraction, I still don't really care. So I'm just going to stay up at the stage anyway, and I'm going to have my cuts out and in a sort of like distracted sort of way that I twirl it and try to catch the light and just make sure that it's clear that I have my weapons. No, I'm not doing this on purpose to be threatening or anything like that. And then I just let them fight.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You're just
Nah,
following the
it's
compass
just
around. Every now and then the moss stone that sits in the hill just kind of catches the light and twinkles a little.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I
not
just
threatening.
for aesthetic sake, I just thought it looks kind of good, so I'm just gonna do. I'm not being threatening or nothing.
Mm-hmm. Sebastian?
I'll do a quick scan with thermal sight again, just where people might be hidden or warm-bodied creatures might be hidden.
Okay. As before with thermal sight, other than the dwarf and the nautilid, nobody has moved. They're all exactly where they were. They seem... Well, the dwarf is literally a little more heated, as getting agitated, getting worked up, but other than that, there's really no change.
And I'll whisper to the device again, to the prototype. It's like, if you need help, just say, we're still here, okay? Good luck. Oh, I replied.
Okay.
But Sebastian won't move. They'll just stay at that spot.
Meanwhile, the scuffle itself dies down with Captain Lysandra forcibly shoving the dwarf down, who gets right back up, at which point Sir Heliahorus finally puts the drink down, walks over, plonks the Avia Ra Sunstaff that he's got on the floor. Doesn't really say a word, just motions, and the two just kind of go quiet. Scuffle dies down. The professor, trying to get things back on track, just kind of coughs. Please, my friends, I know that change can be frightening. I know that expanding our interstellar boundaries will bring about its own challenges. But it's only by working together that we can make the best of our new future, make the most of the Talfo Matrix potential. Just give me a chance to show how we can change dreams into reality. Just watch. He presses a button. The star map vanishes. The room goes back to its purple glow, and now the projector is only projecting onto the screen that is being flanked by Sebastian and Jackson. On the screen behind the Professor Med. So, Gina, Ampersand, and Ryan, you would be able to see this clearly. The number 20 appears in clean white font. He pulls a lever that's coming off the side of the device. Strapped to his back, there's a brief whir, and then a cloud of fog starts to drift out of the device, rolling over the floor in pretty dramatic fashion. Behind him, the number 20 has counted down to number 15.
What's he counting down to, y'all?
Behold, he says. He gestures back to the screen. Goes, the schematic blueprints to the first ever Talfo Matrix, small enough to fit inside a Corvette-sized vessel. He said blueprints, but the screen now shows the number 10.
Is he looking at the screen? Does he see what's going on?
No. He's pointing behind.
Dr. Oren, look behind you.
Turns out, that is not my schematics.
I want to blink over to him.
And then an explosion rips through the bar.
Oh no! Oh, oh! I wanted to. Oh no!
Right, that was a nice
Didn't even get
campaign.
to
It was good
zero.
meeting all
We're
of you.
not at 5.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you.
You
So
cheesy fries, okay? We accomplished something.
yeah,
Turn
the
sheets, rip.
explosion,
Yeah.
the explosion itself emanates from the actual holo screen, which means I'm gonna need Ryan, Jackson, and Sebastian to make a dexterity saving throw, as that whole end and side of the Starswell bar are just engulfed in a wave of force and destruction.
Dexterity saving throw. Okay.
Did I get my blink off before the explosion happened, or was I about to blink over to him and then boom?
That's a 12.
In this case, you would have been about to. So hang on to that thought. So I heard a 12.
I'd like to use my. I'd like to use one of my crits.
Yeah. I mean, it's what they're there for.
If a 12 doesn't save, then definitely as well.
Yeah, I think I'm
can't
going to
tell
crit
you
on
whether
this
or not
one.
it saves until you
I'll-
decide whether or not to use a crit.
I'll use it. please. Pretty please.
Choice.
All right.
I'm pretty sure 7's not going to do me, so auto crit.
There you
We
go.
could use more, by the way. Give us more auto crits so
Really?
that we can continue this campaign instead of dying in the
Yes.
first session.
You also
Please,
choose
chat.
to give them auto
Please.
fail. I'm just saying. No one's
Please do
given me an auto crit. Come on.
You've got 2 on
Yeah, well,
on
yeah,
your window.
You got 2.
Oh, I do.
Oh, I should have shut up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, really,
That's
seriously.
right.
No.
Look, keep me on here.
I like your honesty. Okay, so you've all used your auto crits. You all, thankfully, made that save. So
Oh no.
it's time for me to get. Well, you're about to see. Do I have enough d6s?
Did baby prototypes?
Look at me.
baby prototype.
I don't think we're gonna get
Are
paid.
we
You
playing
guys.
Shadowrun?
Okay, so those of you who made the save, which is all 3 of you because good stuff, you take 7 points of force damage
Yikes.
and manage to stay standing.
Barely.
The explosion itself is bad enough that anything that isn't bolted to the ground is shoved forwards. Yeah.
Who's doing the music? It's just got like tense.
That is our lovely kobold number 7.
Thanks.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that's good shit. Alright. In the aftermath of this, I'm going to say for the sake of keeping this rolling, we're going to keep with the initiative you've already had. Yeah, there's smoke, there's chaos. And you see, of all the people here, the elven lady with the lovely pink mohawk, standing.
Of course.
With her arms raised
Pink
into the
mohawk.
air.
Oh,
The audience
You were-
has been scattered by the blast. Various individuals holding their ringing ears, shouting amidst the chaos. somewhere off to the side, one of the beams just crashes down through the rusted panels. It falls right next to the elvish matriarch, who remains standing, arms still raised. Just steps out of the way a little. Sir Heliohorus immediately rushes forwards, without really talking to anyone in particular, just barking out orders, saying, "I'll get the professor! Don't let the assassin escape!" A moment later, his own energy longsword ignites with a beam of light. A shot rings out from somewhere else in the crowd, and then all hell breaks loose.
Oh,
Like more hell.
Yeah. Like, you needed more help. So,
I was under the impression that we were
Somebody
already.
requested additional help.
listen. You gotta have more cow hell.
Oh, I am your singing hologram, is that it?
Listen, I'm allowed to do a session or something like that. I'm gonna just say that. So, at this point, what would you all... Well, what would Gina like to do, given that your initiative is still 23, which is pretty fucking good?
Do I see anything moving in the smoke behind the wall, or moving towards the dear professor?
Moving towards your dear professor at the moment is Sir Heliohorus, charging forward, ignoring everyone else, just kind of, well, he's the chief of security.
Does he look like he's actually gonna protect him, or?
That's a good
Do you
question.
want to make an insight roll?
I would
By
love
the
to
looks
make an
of it,
insight roll. Is it gonna go well? No.
He's the station chief of security, and he's told you that he's going to protect the professor. You all should take care of the attacker.
I mean, and chiefs of security are never corrupt.
Never. Not
It's a
once.
raised eyebrow.
I certainly don't have any prior experience with that. So yeah, like, you know what? I would love to roll an insight roll as soon as I figure out where on the sheet it is and whether or not I was terrible at it. Oh, I am in fact terrible at it. Okay. But I rolled a 17.
Okay. But I have some crits, so I'm going to just use a crit here and say... This man is impenetrable, unreadable. Intent, set on his mission, and... I mean, he's the chief of security, protecting people on a station.
Maybe if he opened up more people would like him.
Now, if you want to ask him out on a date, that's your question. But
No. Like, just in a public relations sort of sense. Like, he's really not doing it.
if you want to coach him on PR, that's also another thing.
Yeah, I should definitely be the one to coach him on PR.
You're just the cat for the job.
That's exactly right. I like to think of myself as charismatic. That's one of my strong suits, I have been told. But can I actually see, like, charismatic. That's right. His human module works pretty good.
Attempting humor, huh?
Very humorous.
Someone please donate a sense of humor to my cast.
I'm feeling such pun inadequacy over here. Like I'm behind the curve on this. I need a pun to happen.
Don't worry, you have friends.
Can I auto crit for a pun?
No. You've got no more
Anyway,
left.
but like, there's no sign of the attacker, right?
Well, there is the elven matriarch standing there with her arms raised.
Like, is she attacking or is she just like being like, your neighborhood-friendly elven matriarch.
Well, she
Trying to
hasn't had a
protect
chance
everybody.
to act yet in turn order, so...
Oh, well, alright. Okay. Elven lady whose name I don't know who has fantastic hair, I'm gonna need you right now to tell me what you are here to do. I am raising both of my pistols and pointing them at her. Actually, I'm just pointing one of them at her, and the other one's just kind of vaguely, like, brandishing around because I am talking with my pistols, as is my habit. And, I'm gonna need you to tell me what you're here to do, and whether or not I should put a bullet in your face.
Okay. Well, there is no immediate response.
Huh, imagine that.
But you can see just like gears turning.
Okay, I would like
let's
to move
see.
in between her and the professor.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Next up in initiative order is in fact Sir Helio Horus, who, with you've seen him so far lounging at the bar, having a drink, nary a care in the world, suddenly spurred into action, and moves fast and with purpose. Charges towards the stage, picks up Professor Oren, and just sort of almost like holding a child, just kind of like holds the professor close, using his own body as more or less of a shield, and starts moving towards the still functional exit of the bar. And well, that's all that Helio Horus does. Ampersand.
Sebastian, stay with the professor. I will take care of the assailant. And he looks toward the elven matron, and he hits a button on a device strapped to his shoulder, and suddenly is across the room immediately behind her. And I'm going to attack. With
Okay,
my...
what are
It's
you?
not a monofilament whip. That was the joke that we made. It's a photonic lash.
Yes. Monofilament whip. It's just a laser whip. Gosh.
That's 23 to hit.
Yeah, no, I think that'll do it.
Am I getting sneak on this?
No, because she's aware of you.
That's fine. So then it's 4 radiant damage.
Okay. Got that noted. And that is your turn. Okay, so you teleport behind and try to just get the whip around to incapacitate, immobilize something. She does remain standing. Jackson, you're up next.
Mecca, what just happened? What's the status of the suit? Are we holding up? Who did that? What? And so Jackson was right in the middle of that blast and is a bit stunned and needs to assess kind of what took a fair amount of damage despite the good save, and is also trying to kind of scan for any other explosive devices in the room using the Omni tool.
Say that last part again. That just actually glitched out for me.
Trying to scan for any other like explosives or other dangerous devices in the room with the Omni tool.
Okay. The only other explosives really that you can sense are Well, there's a grenade on
Those
Tiberius'
grenades.
belt, and there are several grenades on the other amoeboid's belt.
Okay, and so Mecha does a quick damage assessment, and then what's the distance from me to the elven lady?
From where you are back of the stage, I would say that's well, maybe 20 feet. Not far.
Okay, not bad. So Jackson, is the device still on the stage?
No, that's on the professor.
It's on the professor. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Jackson follows the professor and Heliohoros.
Okay. They haven't gotten far, so you actually don't have to use your full movement to catch up, since Heliohoros had to get there, pick up, and then start running again.
Yeah, and I think Jackson is keeping his back to them while kind of watching the room, backing up with them.
Okay. So, rear guard, essentially.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Ryan.
Right. So the device is on the professor and being carried away. What about the projector or the camera?
Utterly destroyed by the blast.
Both of them?
Yeah.
All right. I'll and what is the one with all the grenades? Are they just like, what are they doing?
So far, in turn order, recovering from the blast, a little stunned and dazed.
And I got 2 folks on the elf lady.
Well, I say a little stunned and dazed. Also looking pretty actually badly hurt.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna head over and try to help attack. In fact, how far away is the elf lady from me?
From you, if you're at the front stage, like 15 feet.
15 feet?
It's not a very large
good.
far. You're essentially all within a 30-foot radius.
Yeah. And you said there was a big support beam that's like kind of close to her.
Yeah, it's actually like it's the one that fell down. So one end is still in the ceiling, the other one's just diagonally down, resting on the ground.
I'm gonna do like a little flick move with my cutlass, and I'm gonna try to fling an ice javelin at her. So I'm gonna make an attack. My bonus for my spells. I know that I calculated that. Where did I put it?
You have numbers, and we know them all by heart. No, we don't.
I know, right? I really should, but I did not memorize them. It's intelligence is my thing, so it's like 8 plus. Is it 8 plus? No, it's your proficiency plus your bonus. So that's a 17 to hit.
That will do.
Awesome. So I'm going to do 3d8 cold damage. If she is adjacent to a wall or similar large mobile object, she may be pinned to the surface on their next turn. At the beginning of the turn, they make a strength saving throw on a failed save. They have a speed of 0 till the end of their turn. And it's a DC 14. 14 damage.
Okay, I'm just gotta check one thing.
And I just think for stylistic purposes that my icicle is just a little tinged teal. It's just a little teal. Like my eyes.
Nice. Just have to look at the stats here. How do I? Am I blind? I am incapable of seeing what I'm trying to see, but it's okay. It's a-okay. We got this. Okay. That's 4. You said 14 damage? So yeah, she is immediately hit. You essentially form a spear out of condensed moisture from the air that kind of flows together, gets more and more solid, and then fires off. Ampersand, you have a moment of fright as there's suddenly this lance of ice spearing right through the elf, right past you, because you said you were behind her. So it's just right through, right past your form, goes boom, into the beam.
Sorry about that, Ampersand. Sorry. And
That was a good shot. If it were not, I would be dead.
but it weren't. It were a good shot.
Well done.
Okay. And at this point in initiative, NPCs are gonna get to go. Finally. Well, first up, the other amoeboid, who is still looking a little dazed, hiding down, picks up a data pad, and then double checks, stops for a second, and you know how we have a Bane, right?
I was not aware
Do
we
we?
had
Stops
Bane.
for a second. The 20 retweets got me a Bane to use against you, so
Oh no.
so amoeboid looks down.
Oh,
There's this moment of, oh no!
Oh no.
As a second explosion rips through the bar
Oh my god.
because someone really doesn't know that grenades should never be just openly worn on a belt. So, in the immediate vicinity of this amoeboid is... Well, Sebastian, you're still close by. And I think, Ryan, you're also still next to the stage, right? You haven't moved, you just did
Yeah, I'm
your
still next
ice
to the
javelin?
stage. Yeah.
Okay. So I need both of you to make saving throws. Thanks.
Yes.
Was that Sebastian?
Yeah,
Did you say?
14.
Sebastian and Ryan. Okay, 14 and...
I would like to use my other crit, if that's okay.
Of course it's okay, excellent use of it.
Thank you. Thank you, chat, for the crit.
So...
You can keep your cup running out.
Sorry for noise. A straight d6. Okay, so the success, you both take, these are low rolls, 5 points of damage. As another second blast of force doesn't knock you prone because you both made the save, but hits you, what I assume is pretty hard,
Yep.
and proceeds to knock unconscious almost everyone still left in the audience, in this case including the elven lady, who is down
Okay.
and hurt bad.
Oh my god.
Bane, boon.
Sebastian, we have enough time for your initiative?
For who, sorry? For mine, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Your...
Is it my
Oh,
turn?
okay, wait, hang on. I forgot the other NPCs because I got excited
Oh, yeah.
because I got to do something. Let's see. In the rest of the crowd, as the second blast goes off, so Captain Lysandra there, was far enough in the back from having restrained the dwarf that she's not really too badly affected. Of the halflings that you saw, the two fairly identically dressed in white suits, one is sprawled out on the ground, immobile, with fairly severe wounds. That one's not getting up again. The other one is enraged by this. She stands up, screams angrily, looks around, and there's a bit of a nod between her and the halfling who's dressed in an all-black suit, and they both just, seeing the carnage and everything else, they run out the bar with Tiberius doing essentially the same thing as Jackson did, just walking back behind him, gun pointed at everyone with that look of, don't start none. And that does bring us then to Sebastian.
Okay, so Sebastian is looking a little bit beat up. Scorch marks over their tiles. Kind of sprints in the direction of Horus. How far away were they? He went for the nearest exit, didn't he?
Helios from you would be, at this point, no more than 15 feet away. Just
okay, so I'm gonna race over there, get in front of Helios, and sort of with my comlink and say, Sir Horus, where are you taking the professor? We're security. We will be protecting him also.
brief pause. There's been an attack on my station. Whatever bodyguards you are, you clearly didn't see what this was. You didn't manage to stop it. I'm taking the professor to security headquarters.
Okay, so I would have had the comlink down.
People that you trust.
Okay, so hopefully the rest of the team will hear that with the comlink down. And in that case, I'm gonna get a little bit further in front as far as my movement, and then bonus action reconfigure into that juggernaut configuration again, and then just continue to sort of like trot along in front of Sir Horus as far as at my limit of my movement.
Okay.
So be another, I guess, 15 feet in front of them. And if I know the sort of layout of Port Nomad, I might know where that is. But also, can I? I've still got, that was a bonus action for the reconfiguration. Can I hold my action to use the repulsor gauntlet on anything that comes like in a threatening way?
Generally, you can hold your action, but you can only hold an action until the end of a round. And since you are last in initiative, if you hold it, it's immediately gone.
Okay. Well, there's nothing to. I don't need to hold it. I'll just.
Yeah, there's no one here attacking you, so.
Actually, can I use my action to cast? While I was beside Horus, can I reach out and cast Cure Wounds on the professor?
Yeah, you can. The professor is pretty banged up. Definitely took a pretty good blow from that first blast. But alive, breathing, no mortal wounds there. And just tell me how much you heal for. Because we're going to be wrapping up in just a moment. Because
6 plus 4,
that
6.
secondary blast
10.
basically took out. Sorry, 10?
10, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. In which case, we can pretty much end combat because the secondary blast leveled everything else. The assassin is down. One of the bartenders actually goes over and provides a bit of first aid. Let's see if they actually manage that. Surprisingly, yes. This bartender knows exactly what to do when someone's been brought to the brink of death on their bar.
I mean, it's part of the job. Yeah.
It comes with the territory. I've been there. I've done that. It's nothing. Yeah. Heliohorus outside, hearing that there's no more blaster fire or anything, slows down, stops, puts the professor down, and you can see from all sides, very nearby, suddenly converging, are the Port Nomad security. A blast like that is not going to go unnoticed. And those of you at the bar, you notice that immediately. This will be. Yeah. You start seeing them stream in. There's 9 of these security officers. Of the people left here, you look around. The only person really left is the lady in a red dress, who talks to a couple of the officers and then just kind of stands around waiting. Those of you outside with Sir Heliohorus, you also see several of them approach you. 2 of them take up flanking positions next to the professor, and Sir Heliohorus himself looks around and says, "We'll take charge of this for now. You need to see a doctor." "Oh, yeah, we got one on station. Very good doctor. I can vouch personally."
I am a doctor.
"Excellent. You can vouch for yourself, I guess."
I'd very much like to stay with the professor.
Oh.
He hired us, specifically.
Well, why don't you all come to my office? You and everyone else. And we'll figure out what happened here. You can see more and more of the security officers converging and also now looking at you very suspiciously with their weapons not pointed at you, but definitely, safety's off.
We look back suspiciously.
I'm sure you do.
Do we hear this through comlinks or no?
Oh, you also have, if you're inside the bar, you've got the security officers telling you just like, put your weapons down, come with us.
Am I being charged?
Yeah,
or something?
No, you're being questioned. Come with us.
Right, we're taking her with us, and I point to the elf city.
No, we're taking her.
Well,
You're
I
all
don't really
coming.
care who does it, but I'm going to go when I see that she's being taken.
All right. At this point, even more of the security officers come in. Like, at this point, there's more or less 15 of them. Whether you want to or not, you're going with. And that is where we're going to end today's session. With you on the way to the security chief's office. And we'll pick it up there next week.
Is the professor with us in the security office?
Well, we'll see that next week. For now, you are walking there.
We are in
We'll
transit.
fade out. In true film noir style, we're going to fade out with you walking down dark alley, and the camera pans up at the neon lights. that is where we're going to leave it. So, holy moly, I had a lot of fun. We can get through plugs and such real quick now because we've got the cult game coming up in about, well, we're going to talk in about 5 minutes. So it's other order again. So, Emilia playing Jackson. I hope you had fun.
Yes.
Shout out if you want to shout out. Tell us your favorite moment. And also, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, because I know you are, let me know if anyone predicted the attacker. Let me know who you thought it might be. See how that goes. But yes, over to Emilio. I keep pointing the camera in one way. I forget it's mirrored. So it goes.
Thank you. Yeah, this was so much fun. I guess really quickly, we had a chance. So I do a show called Let's Roll Characters, where we roll random characters for mostly for D&D, but for other role-playing games as well. And we just had a chance to interview Justin from Mage Press, who created one of the creators of Dark Matter. So we're going to have that interview coming out in probably a day or two. So check that out on our YouTube channel. And my favorite moment, I don't know, this was just awesome. I really like the interplay between Jackson and Sebastian.
I had a lot of fun with that. So, Jen playing Ryan.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm on Twitter at QUIXOTEJEN. 1 N, not 2. I do that at the end, but I'm speeding it up. My thoughts. I just love all these characters and just how distinct and clear they all are so quickly. And I just, they're just so fun, and I just adore all of them. And I think the cat trying to eat the was probably my favorite moment.
So good.
Yes, it was so good. And I don't know. I was the one who was trying to get more info on the elf lady, so I'm just saying. Maybe Ryan has a good idea sometimes.
Yeah.
He may have no wisdom, but you can see me on Friends Who Roll Dice on Mondays and Tuesdays at 6 Pacific. And also, we just did an interview of Banana Chan, who's got a Kickstarter for Jiangshi, which is a really, really cool game about Chinese immigrant families in the 1920s fighting zombies. So it's up on our VOD. Go, it's amazing. It's like, yes, it's such an awesome game. So go look at that. And then, if you want to see me role play some other characters, you can show up on Tuesday evening at 6 Pacific on Friends Who Roll Dice.
Sweet.
Cool.
Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan. I'm Maori_nerd on Twitter and on Twitch. And I stream a little bit, not very regularly, D&D Tales from the Loop. And that's about it. I do a bit of bookbinding as well. So I had so much fun tonight. We all played really well. I really enjoyed playing with these people. You're amazing. And thank you, Diane. Wonderful DMing. It was really good. And thank you, chat, for like the crits and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all plans out. So thank you so much.
And Celeste, back at one of my tables. How do you feel?
Oh, this is a great time. Always great to play with you, Diane. I am Celeste on PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I am Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. I don't do a whole lot of streaming on my own, but you can catch me every other Sunday, this Sunday included, over on the Killer GM's channel at twitch.tv/MattTab7, playing a shapeshifter of a different color, a party crasher of the Misfits in the Masks game Sunset City. So I hope to see you there this coming Sunday. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week.
And then Bailey playing Gina.
Alright, if we're going overtime. I'm Bailey Wolf. I'm a professional voice actress. I stream at twitch.tv/pbwolf Monday through Friday from 6 Eastern until 11 Eastern, 10 Eastern. So have a great night if you want to have fun. Hang out with me. Or hang out here. You can do both. Just saying.
You can indeed do both. I highly suggest go check these people out. I had a blast. You are such a wonderful party. You are so much fun to play with. And I know we're only playing for 4 sessions, but we're going to keep going afterwards, right? We'll talk. We'll talk. So yes.
I would like to point out that we had multiple blasts.
This is true. So if you're here,
How do you get a pun in?
All right. Humor detected.
I have sensed the humor.
hoped. It's another game coming right up. We are actually going a minute over time, so I'm going to rush through this. So thank you to everyone who's been watching. Remember, we have a Discord if you want to hang out and talk shit with us. These videos are going up on YouTube if you want to watch them there, or if you are watching there, hello from the past. And of course, we have a Patreon. The Patreon goes entirely to paying the cast, so go ahead, help us. And yeah, thank you all for making it this far. Stick around. We always love questions, comments, everything. Thank you also to Cold Number 7 for making the tech work out so wonderfully. And if you are on the Discord, you will also know that we are setting up an EncounterCon on August 29th to 30th. It's just a weekend of games, both streamed and non-streamed, just a way to get the community together. So yeah, this is a slightly rushed ending because we had way too much fun. So see you all around. See you next week. Same time, same Encounter channel, and same Chaos Party.
Bye.
Chaos party. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.